and there's aspects of police brutality that occur that make you look at people a little side-eye, and you're like, I'm not trying to get nowhere close to you to be any close to that at all, because in the situation, if you're in a car with a white friend and you're a black guy or anything like that, you know who they go trust a little bit more than you? That person.
But then how are you going to move on from those traumas that you've had, that you have grown up
But
with?
it's hard to move on from a trauma that consistently keeps happening. If it keeps occurring, you can't move past
if they
it.
can't even relate to that trauma. So like, you know, I might be driving my car and I get pulled over and somebody white gets pulled over, they're going to feel the same fears that I feel. So it's just, it always goes back to that. Like, we have to go back to remembering, you know, what we look like. It's not just about like, you know, they're white and I'm not trying to be friends with them because they're white. But at the same time, it's like, I'm black and I have to take care of myself as a black male in today's society. I can't just try to navigate and live my life just like how they would, and they won't get the same repercussions or, you know, different, you know, things that would happen to them with me being black. And it's like, it's okay to have white friends. I'm never saying that it's bad to have white friends. I have white friends, like, you know, whatever, that's cool. But at the same time, like, with these people today, in today's society, are they accepting you for who you are as a black individual, or are they accepting you because you in class, like, oh yeah, I have to answer to the next question. You know, like, are you being you? Like, are they accepting you for you? Do they know your struggles? Do they know what you're going through every day as a black individual?
But doesn't that have
are
to
they
do
supporting
more
you in
with
that?
like who you choose to be your white friend and how you choose to act?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can be, I could be friends with anybody in the room, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not about to just go out here and, you know, be friends with every white person just because they're white, and I feel like they're going to help me elevate.
That's not what we're saying.
No, because at the same time, there's black people in higher powers that's going to take you places higher than, you know, your white counterparts. Like, I know that's not what you're saying. I'm just like, this is just a conversation.
All right, quick question. Quick question. I'm going to take this question for a minute. So there's a lot going around, just people talking about their assumptions, what they expect, what white people may expect from us. But I just want to ask, like, how do we kind of open that door for them to become our allies while we still have, like, those assumptions?
Keep it a bean.
I just have a question, for real.
That's a great question.
Keep it up.
I want to know.
No, because like I'm all for, like, you're talking about bidding us, we climb and things of the sort. We mentioned that earlier, right? I'm all for allyship, but that's once we have unity first. And so we gotta build the roots before we reach out to other races to help us in our progressive struggle. So I'm not looking for a white ally right now because I'm having a hard time unifying this room right here.
But but I feel like, okay, I agree with that, but then I also look at, okay, how long is it going to take for us to unify before we can reach out to them?
I'm not concerned with that until I'm going to our first ties.
Like, I just feel like it's always going to be
fingers, though.
Yeah,
well, not everything is on other races.
The sad part I think about with
and not everything is on us, though.
Exactly, but we didn't acknowledge that not everything is. We've been acknowledging other races, but we haven't been acknowledging our own community.
Yes, we did. We definitely did.
But I think
because when Johnny said, like, you know, I'm not. Oh no, it was Breland. He said that. Why does it always have to be on us? So, like, addressing us, or even when he just said, like, you know, he's having a hard time unifying the room right now. So I feel like everything. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought. Okay.
What I was getting at is that that whole notion of pointing the finger all the time. In some aspects, I feel like with black people, when it's repairing our own community, because I would even say within our own community, we work within a broken system.
Absolutely.
So, and we always tend to go for that, well, it's the white man putting me down, but in my experience as being a gay black man, it's the black man that's putting me down in most instances. So how can we sit up here and consistently say, again, go back and forth, well, it's just the white people, because the most scrutiny that sometimes you face being black isn't always
exactly. And I've been clowned by my own people.
Because again, on that notion,
clown.
I feel like that's just how, you know, back to, like, you know.
But you adopt that type of behavior from the oppressor.
Because like you always think about the whole team light skin versus team dark skin. Like, that's still, you know, something that as a black community that people still face to this day. So like Breland said, like, unifying the community, the black community, is where things need to start, and then we will be able to progress. We can't just automatically just assume that, like, you know, just by me being black and going to a white person, that's going to be able to work out for me. But at the same time, I got brothers and sisters in the back that I need to pull with me, you know, to move forward as well. So it's all about taking care of your own community first and then being able to grow.
I feel like it doesn't have to be a first thing. I feel like the best way to do it is like a simultaneous thing. Because if you look at things like Black Wall Street, or if you look at even the black market here that was in Bloomington years ago, anytime black people do things and they unify by themselves, somebody's coming in and about to mess all of it up because they don't like to see the progress.
Also Oklahoma.
So you're supposed to do it together. And I feel like while you're building your own, you're supposed to be reaching from other people, because the allies, even though Abraham Lincoln's intent wasn't fully there, at the end of the day, he helped.
Great, but even if it's not, at the end of the day, it was a push. We don't have to make him the president martyr for us. But at the end of the day, he did something for that had to do with the us, and it worked for us, ally or not. So I just feel like it's important for us to realize it needs to be happening together, because if we just work on ourselves or if we just work on them, and I get what you're saying 100%, because I think we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I've been saying that the whole time. And even when you talk about like black on black crime, I just need everybody to know that.
We talking about that?
It feel like
we're not starting.
I'm saying if we talking, I feel like a lot of the time black people get on what black people do to each other. But if you look in other minoritized communities, they're not worried about what they're doing to each other. I feel like they're talking about what other people are doing to them. So just a side note. So it's like if you look at things of crime, people always talk about black on black crime is like insane. But the same, it's statistically proven that you're gonna be killed by someone by your own race before someone else. So there's white on white crime that's absurd, and there's Hispanic on Hispanic crime. But it's like I think as a black people focus too much on what we need to unify, and so we don't go reaching out to other people. But the only way we're gonna progress is if we're doing everything at the same time.
Exactly.
And to that point specifically, and I'll just even take it back to the media, it's just what we're shown on a day-to-day basis. We're always shown black on black crime, and the reason why we can't unite is specifically because of that point. But as we're all sitting here, we all have had different experiences with different people. So our healing time, I'll take it as this: it's like the wound that we have is being reopened to a day-to-day basis. So asking to reach out and continue to do these things, asking for allies and stuff like that, how can you reach out to patch something if you're not healed yourself? So it's hard because as a community, like you said, like as a community, I even say here in the community of Bloomington, we're not together. We're not on a equal. Not only say equal platform, we're not on a same page at all. We're still dealing with different things within ourselves, and we're still clashing with ourselves. So how can we expect, with us clashing with ourselves, to reach out to other allies? Because it's like trying to do an event and your e-board is not on point. Your e-board you have different things like this, and you have different places that are not to the point of where it's supposed to be for unity. But then you try to invite other partners in, and they see the imbalances between your e-board, and that's like, you know what? Y'all are not together.
So too worried about our imbalances is what I'm saying. That everyone's too worried about black people's imbalances, and that's why they won't help us. It's not fair because everyone else has their own imbalances and what's going on. But I completely get what you're saying.
Right. But what
do we need help with?
But the thing is that it's gonna take more. It's gonna take more.
Yeah.
We got the black community need help with.
From who? The black dollar. Like a list?
No, it's just like, okay, it's just like, like it's not like what we're dealing with is de jure discrimination. So it's not like there are laws against us, like we can't enter in a restaurant. So I'm just saying it's like, I'm not saying it's all, and I know that they're like, that there are definitely barriers, but like the thing is, it's the mind. It's the mind.
But there's
the thing is that with it being ingrained in the systematic racism, the system is set up for us to be separated with everybody. So it's not set up for us to come together to get to the level that we need to get to. It's always set up for us, whether it be inner cities or anything, it's always set up for us to be separated. But the things that we deal with, like somebody might deal with, like I think somebody had talked about, I think it might have been you, talking about being in the car with a white counterpart and being pulled over by the police and not necessarily care as much. I've been in that experience twice, and I've been pulled out the car twice, specifically because I looked at the police officer wrong. So making that point, I just think that we all are at different points. We're all at different points with our healing, with our healing with it. And for us to truly have a black community that can come together and reach out to other allies to truly break down this system of oppression.
Okay, so
it's de jure discrimination. So like we're being discriminated against because I just said it was a mental thing on all aspects.
No.
Think about it in this instance. Martin Luther King had this great analogy that he put where he talked about a race. Is that if you put somebody at a race 300 years after it's already been started, how do you expect them to be equal in any aspects or to even catch up. You're going to have to accomplish some great feat to jump ahead in any type of way. So it's going to consistently happen. So it's just like there's no way for us to really kind of uplift ourselves if we're going to consistently be put down. So it's like,
because when have we ever been ahead?
When?
Never.
Ever.
When have the playing field ever been equal?
Never.
Never.
All right.
Man.
And I think it's weird to say it's implicit if, like, even recent news with, like, New York passing the discrimination law against hair. If now you have to go out of your way to make laws for being equal, like, it's not even like they're like, okay, we're not going to be racist anymore. It's like,
It's a good
now the implicit stuff, it's like, you guys are being so implicitly racist. Now we got to make laws to make sure you guys aren't doing
They're
it.
selling weed, and we have black people locked up for selling weed.
For decades, lost their life, and moms are selling weed and
selling
smoking
weed.
blunts for their babies.
Yeah.
In Colorado, like it's a
They making money
hobby
off
now.
what we was trying to make money off of, and we didn't get.
They took the business
You
plan.
just shook the table with that one.
no, but back to the root of it. Like, why does this have to do with white allies? Because we're talking about struggles that we've attempted to address and failed, and we addressed them with white allies. Correct? Like the civil rights movement, we did that alongside white folks. But there's a movement that happened right after that called the Black Power movement. We tried to X them out because we realized that wasn't working. We got some laws passed, but we still get killed every day. So why is the answer still to reach out to our white friends when we still obviously have problems amongst ourselves? We can't unify a
you gotta see
room,
both
a community. I understand both perspectives, but I'm not. If I'm,
Why?
if it's two teams and we in a huddle trying to make a play, I'm not finna invite the linebacker from the other side. Hey, bro, what's gonna work
Why
against
does
y'all?
it have to be two
No.
teams, though?
Because it's not.
Because
never
that's
gonna
what
be
a
one
fight
team.
is. We're fighting against something. We're fighting against white supremacy.
we're trying to win.
Win.
At the end of the
I'm not
day,
inviting the white man into their room.
I-
Talk about white
personally-
supremacy. I'm going to defeat it.
I just feel like I can speak and try to educate until I'm blue in the face, my white counterpart, but when will you really understand my experiences? When you really have to
But why are
be
you
in
looking
my
at them
shoes.
to understand?
I'm not really looking
How
for
you
it.
gonna help me if you don't understand?
But at the same time, I'm going out of my way to form an allyship for what? Like everybody's been saying, like if I'm not cool within myself, like how can I reach out to somebody else and tell them, oh, come help
Fix
me?
me.
I don't even know what's wrong with me. So why don't
But
I
why are you
figure out?
reaching out to them to come and help?
And then we
Like,
That's what
Wait.
Can I
This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to get at. I'm just not understanding. Like, why does it have to be? Why can't I just be friends with a white person? Because I just want to be friends with you.
Wow. Okay. Wait. Two different things.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
done. Whoa. Okay. All right.
Let's bring it all back, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
So, okay, I really have not said much. Okay.
This is the last one.
All right. So,
Okay, you better make it good because you the last.
woo, child. All right. We can be friends with white, yellow, green, purple, blue, whatever, for whatever reason you want to be. If you think they cool, be friends with them. That I don't care. The ally is, like he said, I don't like making it a fight or whatever, but it technically is a fight. The ally, use the ally to help you get where you need to be. We're living in white man's world. Therefore, if we're trying to make it equal, if we want inclusion, equity, diversity and representation for where we're all feeling welcomed, we have got to have somebody who has the power to help us get there. I guarantee you Obama didn't become president by only dealing with black people. That's not possible. You have got to have somebody else who's already up there helping you. Because if you don't, we're not going to get anywhere. Like, it's just not possible. So the ally, yes, okay, y'all can be friends or whatever, but the ally is to help you win the fight because you cannot win the fight by yourself. What is the fight? The fight is the racism, the discrimination, the microaggression.
Bleed that out by all you can only do that by a person at a time. You can't bleed that out. Like
The
systemic,
it's not dealing with like there are laws against it. That's
there
not what
are
we're
laws.
dealing with.
They just, what was it? December of last year. I think December last year. They just said lynching was illegal. They just said that.
Like, it's systemic. And that's another thing. The allies, okay, yeah, we can have individual allies, you know, but at the end of the day, we're going to need allies that are up in the top to help it come down. The systemic is the issue.
Y'all,
one question. So, what do you want from your friend? Do you want them to help you, or do you want them to just be there? Because
I want to watch movies with my friend. That ain't what we talking about.
We're talking about the progression of the race. That's what we're talking.
So y'all can be friends
all day long.
But how are they helping you?
I'm trying to wrap this up real quick. I feel like we all agree and disagree at the same time. I think the stasis of it all is that we all see the benefit in unifying the black body, right? Mm-hmm. So I want emphasize my original point is that there's steps. I don't want a white ally right now. Maybe I should have said that. Because I'm not inviting a white ally to my team when my team is not unified within itself.
All they gonna do is
so it takes that first. So allyship is necessary because we live in a white society. We have to infiltrate it some way, somehow. But we can't do that if we don't have our feet first. It just doesn't make sense. Logically, it's not safe. Like, we need to be focused on ourselves first and foremost. That's self-love.
So
okay, we're
gonna wrap things up. So more so, I've heard a lot of you all, you know, speak your points, just about everything. But for me, I would just say I feel like oftentimes, as far as these settings, we come together and we go and do the same thing. So we just go about our lives. It happens all the time. So for once, I do want to say this is one of many conversations to come. But also, I feel like a lot of you mentioned, like, for the change to happen, we gotta do it ourselves. Like, it's a lot of pointing the fingers. It's a lot of looking there for administration. But like, when comes the point where we actually go to administration and demand change? Because at the same time, we can expect them to like give us change, but at the same time, if they don't know what's going on, they're not immersed in our culture. They don't know what's going on, so we have to actually go to them. So my thing is, the last question. Try to make it swift, you all. It's the last one. Just like as we close out. What are your last thoughts? Like progressing forward. Any action plans? Any words of wisdom for freshmen? Anybody just coming in? What's the word?
Got you. So when you said that we got to bring to the administration don't care.
Boy,
I'm letting you know that right now, they don't care. So it's up to us for real. Like I think Janai said earlier. So I'm gonna go in that white space. I'm gonna go where someone, where we don't really are present, or where we aren't present, and I'm gonna study there. I'm gonna make friends. I'm gonna watch a movie with my white friend, but in doing that, I also have to, grab other black people too.
I'll go with
so I can do both. I'm not inviting them to be an ally right now, but I can do both and, kind of reach out to those black people because I feel like, like Breland said earlier, we need to unify. So why does it still feel like we're still 4% because we don't know those other black people? Exactly. I'm going to go out and find them. Definitely. After this.
I like that.
I think with me personally, kind of like saying what Kayla's saying, like we just have to go out there and bring those people to those spaces that we use. Like a lot of us on this panel, I feel like utilize like places like the Neil Marshall or the group's office and different things like that. So kind of just making sure that we hone, those experiences to everyone, not just ourselves to progress ourselves, but to bring those other black people that are new, that are transfer students that really don't know about these different resources. Like Dima, like Janai is very passionate with Dima. She works closely with them. So bring that to like the Neil Marshall, let people know the benefits that people have in these different spaces instead of, everybody just here and you kind of hear about it as you go. Like, why don't we hear about it when we first come in? So I feel like my biggest and new thing that I want to do is like talking to admissions and like talking to them like when they're bringing in new students that are black or minority students throughout the summer, like why can't they have their own presentation about DEMA, the Neil Marshall, different culture centers where they're just like strictly focused on this and this development for them as a student instead of them waiting until they actually get here in the school year, go to their first day of classes, and then finally realize months later, wow, there's a Neil Marshall Black Culture Center where I can go and get help. So I feel like places like admissions specifically, that's where it needs to start at, especially with IU, just so students can know about those different resources instead of just knowing everything else is out here. Like they'd be happy about enforcing football and basketball season tickets. They're expressing stuff like that, but they're not expressing like how the black student experience is at a PWI. Like how are these different resources there to benefit us, not just there just to be placeholders, but they're there to be utilized. So
for me personally, I'm definitely gonna continue to fight. Right now, working on the renaming of the Intramural Center.
Okay, yes. I see that.
Either Bill Garrett or George Tyler Fred, we're working real hard on that, so definitely continuing to fight. But action steps, we need to make Wells Fifth Ward crack. So come up there. If you don't even plan on studying, I feel like that really needs to be our club because they're definitely infiltrating that space. Because it's right before 5 o'clock. So I mean, I feel like that should just be our safe space. Outside of the marshals,
Are
then
you
we have
ratchet
fun, study, dance. You know what I mean? Go crazy. So definitely an action step.
Go crazy.
Wales fifth floor. Club Wales.
The key
I'll
thing.
go.
Oh, go ahead. Want to go? No.
You go first.
Okay. So I guess the key thing is that for me is that like for all of us is that it's imperative for us to be cognitive of all of these social issues because in order for us to work against them or to change them, it's going to start with us empowering ourselves with knowledge and being conscious of these things. So I guess my thing is that even though it seems like a burden to consistently educate people, I'm going to educate people from all types of different backgrounds, whether you're black, you're white, you're green, you're yellow, because everybody's ignorant in some aspects on everything.
Including ourselves.
Within the black culture, within the different identities that most people take on, with the struggles women face, the struggles homosexuals face, and all of these different aspects, is that you're not going to know these things, and sometimes you might not even seek them out because it's not something that's important to you. But let me tell you why this is something that's important to you. Because in order to further our society, we have to have more accepting or equality and just overall inclusion of everyone. So on. And that's essentially it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go. I keep saying you can go. I think just me personally, my action plan would definitely be just to look for those little opportunities to educate other people, just like he said. I don't want to repeat the same thing, but basically I want to do what he just said. And another thing is that just looking for like opportunities to branch out from where I'm at. So I just feel like there's a lot of times I'm not always at every Neil Marshall event. I feel like a lot of times I'm just with my Black Kelly friends. Because at the end of the day, we're always reading a book somewhere, practicing for a presentation, just doing all these things. But I really want to be able to branch out and look at, okay, where are the other Black students that I have not talked to that's not in Kelly that I can still latch onto and still become friends or benefit them in some type of way. Definitely. And also still becoming friends with people that are outside my race. I don't want to always be surrounded by Black people. And I feel like this year I really started to realize that when I'm texting people, that's the only people I talk to. And I really need to be able to branch out just so I can develop new perspectives, hear other people's stories as well, just besides my own and my communities.
I would say next steps after this, most definitely just from individual, interpersonal levels, reach out to those people who you don't normally see. Those Black faces that you don't normally see. Like, we have got to come together. So us being cliquish, like, because everybody knows Black IU is just cliquish, like really cliquish. So open up your space, open up your friend group, open up your heart and your mind and your soul to listen and hear and meet new people, because that's the only way, like you said, uniting us, that's the only way we're going to be able to do it. Also, to the few white people that's in the room, I don't know. Oh, there's some. Hello. But be just as open and with your heart, your mind, your soul to what we experience. And also, you know, if you all are feeling some type of way about something, let us know so that we can figure it out. Because at least on an individual basis, that's the only way we're going to be able to figure it out, is if we do that. When it comes to the next step and the next level up, if you want to get involved in that level, okay, find ways that you can make change on a larger basis. So whether it's going to administration, whether it's going to Congress, whether it's talking to those higher ups, because honestly, like I said, most of this is a systemic thing. That's the root of it all. So if you want to take it to the next level, that's how you do it. Get involved. I'm not the most involved, but if you want to do it, I recommend it. Also, you know, going to events like this. This is something that's fun. I think this was fun. Eye-opening, inviting those allies or just friends so that they can also open their heart, their mind, their soul to grow. Because the only way we're going to be able to grow is if we're uncomfortable. So, you know.
So, my fault, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My point is kind of to that. It's more so words of wisdom. So at the end of the day, not everybody cares. Not everybody's going to be woke or cares to be woke. Nobody cares for social change or to contribute to it in any way. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. We can't change that. And so within that, we're all going to have uncomfortable experiences. And the more we get involved in the world, the more uncomfortable we become. My point to that is being uncomfortable breeds growth. So when you're uncomfortable and you know that breeds growth, channel that growth. Make sure to grow within yourself and always love yourself, and let that be the energy that goes out into the world. And that's what's going to ultimately create the most change.
And speaking of action plan, I think for me specifically, just continuing to be supportive of everyone, whether it be student organization, whether it be individual initiatives that'll create positive energy around campus, whether it be campus or the world, whatever it may be. Allowing for words of affirmation, words of support. That's specifically, I think that one thing that we can all agree is what we need. We all need somebody saying, keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing forward and doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job. You're showing somebody, you're making somebody proud. So continuing, whether it be going to different organizations, events, and showing them that you care. Because that's the true way that us as a community and us with other communities is going to come together, is to be able to support each other in our efforts of doing different things. So whether it be GTSA getting the renaming done, whether it be BSU in any type of initiatives that they have going, or anybody that's pushing an initiative to push somebody forward, is supporting those initiatives and making sure that you're showing face and saying, hey, I might not necessarily understand, but I'm here. Definitely. I'm here to learn. I'm here to understand. I'm here to support you no matter what. So making those efforts to show that I'm reaching out. I'm doing all that I can to show that I care, that I'm here to support you. I'm here to affirm you whenever you need to affirm. When you're down, I'm here for you, whatever it may be, because that's for the most part, that's what we were raised upon. Mm-hmm. So channeling those values and those morals and implementing them in the spaces that they need to be implemented into.
I think we might have to also take into account that I think my favorite quote is a dream without a plan is nothing but a wish. Mm-hmm. So again, if we want change, we have to be advocates for it and actually have a plan to get to that.
Period.
But with doing that, we cannot, in any instance, we have to strive for improvement and not perfection. These issues are not going to go away tomorrow, 2 weeks, 2 years. So the little steps that we can take, we need to take note of those achievements and make sure we celebrate them in those instances. We live in a very negative society, and it's so hard to get so wrapped up. It's really easy to get wrapped up in that. And it's hard to celebrate the positive aspects. So always have to keep that in mind, and that's how we keep pushing forward.